Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. This is a middle of the night download. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's pouring here, so if you can hear that, nice little ambient noise. So, yes, I work at all hours of the night, but I was not finishing up with a client. But this was a download that is here, that is for somebody here that is on the divine feminine masculine journey. They were saying to me, my angels, as I was finishing up some other work, they were saying that some of your divine masculines are going to want to come back and talk to you. And they asked me to get on here and to be a blocker. I won't say what kind of blocker, but you guys understand what I'm saying. And they said to just remind you of a couple of 3 things, okay? And guys, for once, this one has literally nothing to do with my personal journey, so I have no anecdotes or stories, which may be very refreshing for those of you listening. This is truly a download for you, because this is not my situation whatsoever. They said that some of your masculines want to come back and reconcile. Some of you guys have been in separation, and there's some reuniting that will happen. Now, for some of you guys, this is happening because whomever your masculine is wasn't a maniac, okay? They were not a narcissist or covert or overt or malignant or any of the other delineations. They were just a person who got caught up in temptation and the grass being greener on the other side, right? They were not abusive emotionally, mentally, physically, okay? So start your checklist. If you're checking off some of the things I'm saying, that's not your masculine, okay? And you may be able to click off at this point. But if you had a pretty decent relationship with your masculine, but you guys went on this journey, as it is well documented on Al Gore and Beyonce's internet, as they say, you can see if you are in an alignment. You can easily Google a divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flame journey, soulmate journey, various things. And these are 2 different journeys. But for specifically those of you with divine masculines, remember who he was. So even though we've now done the checklist of, was he 75 degrees of terrible, or was he just mediocre terrible? The thing that I want to remind you of, as I'm blocking, okay, so I'm this is the thesis that I submit that's fully biased, and I'm letting you know it ahead of time, is you were second choice. And that is the thing that's hard to swallow when you're dealing with it, but easy to romanticize and forget once you've done your own healing. I also want to remind you that you did your own healing solo, dolo, YOLO, okay? Because he was on some YOLO, or she, depending on who your divine masculine shows up as, or which body they incarnate into, they were on some YOLO, you only live once, Drake-ish, when he first came out. You had to be individual and alone and somber and do your healing by yourself. A lot of you guys didn't get answers, or didn't get to ask questions. If you had a divine masculine that wasn't uber toxic, maybe you did have some conversations and have some level of clarity where he was forthcoming or she was forthcoming. However, comma, you still did a lot of the heavy lifting, yeah? The book, He's Just Not That Into You, comes to mind. He may very well, at this point, be very into you. But the somber fact and reminder is that somewhere in this journey, he was not. I want to remind you of the ways that he was not. He did not show up energetically. Maybe he siphoned your energy, took it to somebody else. Maybe he abandoned you. Wow, you hear that vocal fry that just happened. Oh, someone's divine masculine doesn't want me to say this. Oh my goodness. It's such a weird thing going on lately when I've been talking and my voice just literally evaporates out of my body when I get to a good point. What were we talking about? Abandonment? Yes, he abandoned some of you, or she abandoned some of you and left you holding the bag, and thought that they were getting away with murder for some of them. And what I mean by that is figuratively getting to escape responsibility and the things that adults do in relationships when they work things out It's tough to work things out. It's tough to do therapy. It's tough to talk. It's tough to have accountability. But someone who is emotionally there for you and loves you and was ever invested will invest at least a modicum of that. Crappy behavior is pretty standard when we are in a cheatation and it turns toxic. And it can turn toxic when someone develops a sexual addiction or whatever else. So these are some of the things your divine masculine may have been dealing with. But I heard that some of them want to come back and talk to you. And you have been alone and feeling that and thinking, some of you guys have been. Y'all know me. I cannot relate. But some of you guys can. And I've had to take stock of a lot of my content because I realize that it's very much protect yourself. I feel like all of your moms. I feel like your older cousin. I feel like a good auntie. I feel very protective because I can see what this is. But my angel said there has to be nuance and softness applied if, again, I'm still going to block here, but if they are at all willing to communicate. I would say this if I were advising you as a client. I would not even entertain it. Are you not entertained? It's Russell Crowe, right? In The Gladiator. Because that's what you just had to do. You were in the Colosseum and your divine masculine was up in the rafters and thought that he or she was a king. And they pitted you, perhaps against a karmic, for their entertainment. Are you not entertained? Divine Feminine, you weren't amused as you had to battle your way out. Spiritual warfare, energetic, maybe real words. Maybe it turned into an episode of Jerry Springer. I don't know your story exactly. But the story is the same. Shakespeare wrote about the story. Caesar and Brutus lived this out with their karmic. Cleopatra, who was whose karmic in that situation. This story is a tale as old as time. Karmics exist, but your divine masculine is wanting to persist at this time. Some of you guys are coming into a season of reconciliation. What are you going to do with that? It's a heavy weight because you cannot forget that while you were alone, that person that you loved and shared good energy with at some point left you very lonely while they were quite full. The Cheshire Cat. Stuffed with options. If you're reading tarot, Seven of Cups. Stuffed with opportunity. Feeling like they were in the land of milk and honey. There was something that came in about some of your divine masculines having had a karmic purchase of vehicle for them. Some of them trucks, some of them vans, some of them cars, actually cars. I'm seeing like converted SUV. I call them alien eggs, but those SUVs that look like alien eggs. You know what I'm talking about? Crossovers. That's what it is. Crossover, 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 crossover. Dribble, dribble, crossover. Juggling balls. A crossover. Double crossed. Betrayed. These are the things that energy and nerves that were frayed. If they make me start rhyming, then you know you're going to get a message that's going to come through that's pretty powerful. But I'm here to just do this, to remind you that they really were sure about grass being greener in another direction. They were quite positive that they had found the Mecca. Yeah? We're allowed to make different choices, Divine Feminine. People fall in and out of love all the time. People fall in and out of commitment. People fall in and out of relationship. You have to decide what your tolerance for someone falling in and out of loyalty is before you let them in and out of your life. Knight of Wands, if you read tarot, the Knight of Wands, passionate, sexy. Some of them want to have some makeup sex. Some of you guys have some birthday sex for my Aquarians that are coming up here. And maybe your divine masculine wants to come in and woo you in that way. But remember, that's the same sexual energy that they wooed somebody else with. Maybe while they looked in your face and lied to you about it or gaslit you about it. Again, if they're not a full DSM psych eval regarding narcissism, you decide on that. But I just didn't want you to forget that you were flat on your back. Some of you ladies I've counseled, some of you guys got left in it while you were pregnant, okay? Some of you guys got left while you were building entrepreneurially. That was my situation, so I completely understand. Some of you guys got left when you how were dealing with relatives that were ill, and they just left. You know, there's a song I'm going to connect here. It says "Blocking You Blesses Me." It's by a comedian. I think her character is like Cheryl or Shirley or something. And she says, "Blocking you blesses me." I will connect it below. She's a young woman who's in her, I think, early 30s, but she plays this elderly, like, church lady, okay? And it's pretty funny indeed. In fact, she started out on YouTube and made it all the way to a Tyler Perry movie, and I believe she'll probably go beyond. She's hilarious. However, the message rings true. Blocking you, in fact, does bless me, and the you is your DM. The reason I say that is because you have to vet if they're able to carry the weight of responsibility of working things out. I've gone to therapy in my life with partners. I know how much energy and work it takes to maintain that. And if you had someone who was unaccountable to you in any way, it's not that I'm recommending that you go to therapy, but ask if they can even enter into your space. Because are they willing to do the heavy lifting, or do they want to maybe glaze over whatever was done, right? So I want to say that to you without any of my own personal energy in it, beyond blocking. Blocking you blesses me, meaning you, Divine Feminine. Because to open your heart back up to somebody who never valued it, and you have the evidence and the proof and you have the scars. See ya, you've got thick skin and an elastic heart. Your heart learned how to stretch because your divine masculine stretched it out. I don't want you to forget that. Union with your DM when it's healthy can be exquisite, yeah? But if it's unhealthy and if it's toxic, even if they aren't a full narc, like mine was, that's why we don't go back when we're dealing with narcs whatsoever. That's why I said, y'all, this is a conversation for you, because it's not anything I entertain. But for you that do entertain it, they got to do their work. There are no free meals. And if you really were on this journey, you know the cost of putting yourself back together. All the king's horses and all of the king's men, after you'd been down in that gladiator pit, could not put you back together again. No one could help. No one could console. No one could peer into the darkness in your energy, the sadness that you carried in your body. I see you, Divine Feminines, because I am you, because I have been you. Where we differ, for those of you that are considering reconciliation, is that I will not. But I cannot eschew your decision to do so. I just wanted to give you the evidence. I wanted to present my case, if you will. You deserve love. I can tell you all about new partnerships and contracts that come in once you release this. But I didn't have your experience, and I didn't love your DM, whoever your DM is. Only you know what that feels like. And only you know if he wasn't abusive or she wasn't abusive, if she's even worthy or he's even worthy to breathe the air that you breathe once again. My angel said I had to say it, and so now I have. And so I leave the rest to you. You are bright. You coalesced around your broken heart. You picked up the pieces with your kiddos. For some of you guys that I've got to chat with, you've picked up the pieces at your job, and you move forward with your life. But love is love, and I'm a Leo, guys. And this year, 2021, is rule number 5, numerology. It's the energy of change, having a fresh idea, making a pivot, but also Leo rules the 5th house in the zodiac, which is romance, children, creativity, loyalty, family. I will never begrudge you an opportunity with someone who is not a maniac. That is the asterisk. That is the caveat. To reconcile. I think that for those of you that had DMs that just really got led astray and maybe woke up and realized the toxicity of the fact that, they got a karmic partner, maybe they were yours, whatever, and they want to talk, then talk. And for those of you that can really get back into union, make a YouTube channel and teach the rest of us what it's like to actually go through this battle and reunite with the person that you love so much. Because so many of us will not have